What's going on, guys? I want to hook you guys up with the top 5 best Warzone 2 loadouts. These are going to be loadouts that are going to be slightly different, but I wanted to give them to you guys just because I think these are the best and most optimal setups for the best experience in Warzone 2, whether you're playing a Sheikah or you're playing Al Mazrah. So, starting out with the ISO Hemlock. The ISO Hemlock is a fantastic weapon for AR users. If you don't want to use the RPK, if you want to be a little bit faster, have better mobility with zero recoil, this is the weapon to use. So we start out with the Harbinger D20. We tune it. Its sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness. Pros and the cons are aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking speed. I increased the bullet velocity by 0.87 inches and the recoil smoothness by 0.54 ounces. I put on the Fielder T50. This increases damage range, bullet velocity, hipfire accuracy, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. I increased the damage range by 0.17 inches and the recoil steadiness by 0.15 pounds. Put on the AIM-OP V4 for the precision sight, and the far distance is maxed out. Put on a 45 round mag and the FTAC Gripper 56 for aiming out of stability, hipfire accuracy, and recoil stabilization at the cost of aim down sight speed and walking speed. I increased the aiming out of stability by 0.35 inches and the recoil stabilization by 0.65 ounces. So here's the outcome. I'm sure you guys will love it. This thing takes very little effort to use. As you guys see, it has such little recoil. And I wasn't even trying. Like, as you guys see, I'm barely holding my thumbstick down. You guys don't see me actually holding my thumbstick, but I'm barely holding my thumbstick down and it just gets the job done. So this is a fantastic weapon to use. Barely holding my thumbstick down and it barely takes any effort to use. So please give it a try. I know you'll have a fantastic time using it. But next we're going to move on to the Fennec. Now, the Fennec 45 is an insane SMG. As much as they try to nerf it, as much as they try to make it not usable, this build is the strongest build that I've ever made. I'm actually surprised that it's lasted this long, but it's still the strongest, the fastest CTK, the best recoil control, all that. So we're starting out with the ZLR 16.5 ignition barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, hipfire accuracy, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. I increased the damage range by 0.25 inches and the recoil steadiness by 0.32 pounds. Put on the VLK Laser 7MW, and I tuned it to increase the aiming out stability at 14.81 feet. Didn't change the weight. Self aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire speed at the cost of laser being visible in ADS. If you don't want that, you can take that off. You can probably put on a rear grip like the Fennec rubber grip if you want to. Completely up to you. But I just thought this was good because there's not a real con. If you don't even want to use that, you can just use the 1MW quickfire laser and it'll be just as good. Put on the Agile Assault 7 stock for sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and aim down sight speed at the cost of aiming stability and recoil control. I increased the aiming out stability by 2.40 inches and the aim down sight speed by negative 2.06 ounces. Put on a 45 round mag and the phase 3 grip, which is actually different than my previous videos, for aiming out stability, hipfire accuracy, and recoil stabilization at the cost of walking speed and aim down sight speed. Put the aiming out stability at 0.23 inches and the recoil stabilization by 0.54 ounces, and check this out. This thing is absolutely insane with a fantastic amount of recoil control. This is something I highly recommend. As you guys see, short, medium, and long range is fantastic. I do highly recommend keeping it to short to medium though, just because long range can be really dicey and you don't really want to mix it up. You kind of want to keep yourself safe, keep yourself to the short to medium, just because you'll most likely get a better chance to get the net kill. Plus, you're most likely just going to switch to a weapon that can actually handle long-range gunfights when you're dealing with that. So stick to the short to medium range, and you'll have a fantastic time. This deal right here is absolutely insane, but I want to show you guys something potentially even better. I mean, you guys saw this coming, the RPK. The RPK is a fantastic weapon, and honestly, I don't think that's ever going to get nerfed enough. It's the Polar Fire S for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed and aiming stability. Increase the bullet velocity by 0.32 inches and the recoil smoothness by the same amount. FTAC Gripper 56. Aiming out stability, hipfire accuracy, and recoil stabilization at the cost of aim down sight speed and and walking speed. Aiming out stability increased by 0.21 inches and the recoil stabilization by 0.44 ounces. Put on the AIM-OP V4, max out the far distance. Demo X2 grip for recoil control, and I increased the recoil steadiness by 0.74 ounces. And check this bad boy out. I forgot to show you guys actually one more thing, and it's the high velocity. Maxed out the bullet velocity and the damage range of 0.43 Gs. And show you guys how amazing this is. This is probably literally one of the most broken weapons still to use. Even if they try to increase the recoil, it's way too easy to use. So in my opinion, they have not nerfed it enough for me to not want to use this weapon. In my opinion, you can keep using this weapon and go crazy. And this is me using it, and I'm using a stiff drifted controller. So if I can use this weapon with a stiff drifted controller, you can use it with a good controller. Now we're going to move on to the MP5. The MP5 is phenomenal this season. A lot more people are using it, and that's awesome. I started out with the FSS Shark Fin 90 for the aiming out stability increase with no cons. I increased aiming out stability by 0.18 inches and the recoil stabilization by 0.23 ounces. Put on the 9mm overpressured for the ammunition. This helps with target flinch, and I increased the bullet velocity by 4.94 GR and the damage range of 0.45 Gs. Put on a 50 round mag. If you want to use 40, completely up to you. You'll just be a little bit faster. Mirror recoil 56 factory stock for aiming out stability, recoil control, sprint speed at the cost of aim down sight speed, aim walking speed, and crouch movement speed. Increase the aiming out stability on 1.32 inches and aim down sight speed by negative 1.29 ounces. And then the VLK laser 7MW for aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire speed. With the laser being visible in ADS, I increased the aiming out stability by 11.52 feet. And I increased the sprint to fire speed by negative 0.06 ounces. This is the outcome. It's a fantastic weapon. Highly recommend using it just because it really does get the job done. Long range, I would try to avoid that gunfight just because it's not going to look good. In fact, I'll show you what it'll look like. You're just going to be bouncing all over the place. Not going to have a fantastic time. You're going to have bullets fly all over the place. I don't really recommend it. But short, medium, fantastic. But there is another thing I have to show you guys, and it's something that I actually haven't shown in my previous video just because I haven't appreciated it as much as I do now. Especially playing ranked, I appreciate it more in Warzone as well. So that is the Vaznev. It doesn't matter if you have this variant, it works the same exact way. I just have the variant on there. But this build right here is fantastic for the Vaznev on Warzone 2. But on the Brune Pendulum for the vertical and horizontal recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed and aiming stability, I put the gun kick control at 0.21 inches and the aim down sight speed at negative 0.65 ounces. Put on the CAS 381mm for the barrel, for damage range, hip fire accuracy, and bullet velocity at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and I increased the damage range by 0.15 inches, recoil steadiness by 0.34 pounds. Put on the broadside FCT. Helps with aiming stability, crouch movement speed, aim down sight speed, and sprint speed at the cost of aim walking speed and recoil control. So I increased the aiming out stability of 0.70 inches, and aim down sight speed is all the way to negative 3.87 ounces. You want good aim down sight speed. I put on a true tack grip for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed at the cost of recoil control, and I increased the sprint to fire speed by 0.15 inches, increased the recoil steadiness by 0.58 ounces, and I put on a 45 round mag. The outcome is beautiful. This thing is a fantastic gun. As you guys see, it actually melts incredibly fast. Long range, I would be careful just because, like other SMGs, it does kind of get shaky at a long distance. But if you do actually have your shot on point, you have a much better time. You actually get the job done. So, if you want to go for the long range fights, feel free, but you have to have a really good shot. You're much better off just going for the short to medium range. And then if you're feeling really good, go for the long range fights. But like I said, it really is tricky. The recoil pattern at that distance can be really inconsistent. So try to stick to the short to medium range.